What's up, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, give the video a thumbs up, much appreciated. Also subscribe if you guys have not yet subscribed. We just hit 24,000 subscribers on the channel. Greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. And jumping right into this, going into 2022, we're in January now, and a lot of people want to start habitat improvement projects, which is a great thing. You get outdoors, you get some exercise, get some fresh air. Everybody's been cooped up in their house, and it's a good time to get out there. Depending where you're at, you could be under snow, or you may not be under snow, but it's a good time to get out there. January, February, March, do a lot of projects on your property, and there's a lot of information out there you guys can gather, research, and do on your own properties, but it can also get you in trouble. And we're going to go over some things to help you prevent that. And I think the biggest thing here is a lot of people like to overthink things, and it's good that people can get information and then question it and ask why. That's a great thing. You always want to question why. But then you also have so much information out there that people get confused. And I think a lot of people, that push this certain information actually try to confuse you to chum up business. I hate to say that, but from what I've seen and places that I visited, trade shows and different types of schools and things, they try to trick you, or not trick you, but confuse you. That way you have to, do it their way, or try to create certain things to where they can say that they came up with it, or whatever that it is. And we're going to run over some things to help you prevent that issue. But number one is wrong location. This could be a wrong location for a tree stand, a wrong location for a food plot, a wrong location for some timber work, wrong location for some hinge cutting. There's so much information out there. Hinge cutting is probably, I'd say, the last resort for anything. I think some properties need it and some don't. It depends on the habitat and what kind of trees you have. A food plot, I think a lot of people, here's the problem with a food plot is most hunters, most hunters don't have a lot of property to where they can put food plots in a strategic place. A lot of people are just leasing ground or just have permission to hunt a piece of ground, and there may be an open field somewhere, open section in the woods, and that's the only place that you have to put a food plot. And it may be the wrong spot, but that's all that you have. In that situation, I would encourage you to just have fun with it, plant a food plot, be careful of your entry and exit, and just have fun with it, plant it. I guarantee you'll have success. But when you own property and you're hiring consultants or whatever that it is, and you're putting the food plots in strategic places, be careful where you put them in, because I see a lot of people telling somebody to put in a food plot and it's completely in the wrong spot, to where you have to literally walk through it to get to your stand, walk past it, or walk in a location to where you're going to be interrupting deer that's in the plot in the mornings, the afternoons. You have to have entry and exit to these spots, and the food plot may be too big, it may be too small, it may be in the wrong side of the property, it may be in the back of the property, maybe in the front of the property. They have to be in strategic spots, and it has to be the correct spot to where you can either hunt that plot if you want to, and you have to be able to get to it and out of it without spooking deer. It's the main thing. There's a lot of places you can put a food plot, but again, most people just have those really small properties, and they just have hunting it by permission only, and there may be a small open field, patch of woods or something, open section in the woods, and that's all that you have. I would encourage you to have fun with it, plant it, just be careful of entry and exit, pay more caution to that, and you guys will have good success with it. Number two is can do what you want, and this is a big one, because I see a lot of people try to manage or improve every part of their property, and they think, well, if I'm doing all this work, I'm attracting deer, which you will, I can do whatever I want on my property and the deer will still be there. It's actually the complete opposite, because if you don't do any work, you're going to have less deer on your property. That's for you to go on your property, that's less deer to spook. You do more work on your property, you're attracting more deer, now you have more deer to spook. So you have to be careful, if that makes sense. You have to be careful when doing the work. Just because you do the work and you attract more deer to your property, make it more attractive to deer and other wildlife, you still have to play caution to how you enter the woods, how you exit the woods, your scent control if you're using four-wheelers, not using four-wheelers, But just because you improve your property and you make it more appealing to animals, deer specifically, you're going to push them off if you don't pay attention to how you enter and exit the woods and what you do in the off season and during the actual hunting season itself. Number 3 is, like I said, entry and exit. You have to be able to get to your tree stands in non-deer areas to where you're not spooking deer. You know, a lot of people like to hunt on food plots, which can be a great thing, but you have to question, how are you actually going to get to that food plot? You're standing around that food plot, how are you getting out of that food plot? A lot of times, you know, when you hunt right on top of that food plot, it's almost impossible to get out of it in the afternoon. And depending on how your property is set up, those deer may exit that field, their food plot. Maybe they're going out to like an ag field or like a destination food plot. That's why it's also important on your property, if possible, if it makes sense, if it's large enough, to have multiple food plots and maybe a large destination plot to where you're hunting those kill plots in the afternoon. There are deer leaving those kill plots, going to the destination field, and you can get out of your stand, sneak around the property, get back to your truck, wherever you're going, without spooking those deer. Number 4 is too much bedding. This has become so popular, and it's starting to get frustrating because people will email me, they'll call me for some habitat work or consulting, and they'll say, look, I had this plan drawn up, had somebody come out to my property, and we did everything they said, we put all the bedding in, and now we have no room to move around our property because there's so much bedding, and we just can't get around, and we feel like it made the property worse. And I see this over and over, and it's a problem. When you have super small properties and you're trying to micromanage those small properties and you're trying to place so much bedding in there, you're going to hurt the property, because not that bedding is a bad thing, but on those small properties, you still have to have room to maneuver around your property. If you put so much emphasis on bedding on your property, you have no room to move around. And just because you put bedding on a 40-acre piece of property, the deer's not staying on your 40 acres. It's roaming. It has a home range, whatever it is, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 yards, especially during the rut, roam out further. But, does stay pretty close, but bucks, I mean, it's just because you place a buck bed on your property does not mean that buck is going to stay there. It may be a spot for him to bed down for a little while, maybe. And with this bedding issue is I'm seeing videos of people taking shovels and shoveling out the dirt and raking the leaves away and placing logs, some deer can bed up against. Guys, you don't have to do that. It's confusing to people. You do not have to do that. Keep it simple and you'll have better luck. Do not pay so much emphasis on bedding. If you have a larger property, you can focus more on strategic bedding areas. On small properties, focus more on food and water and entry and exit. You'll have better success, I'm telling you. Number 5 is, again, keep it simple. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of different ways you guys can get confused with it. Keep it simple. It's always good to question things, but if it seems like somebody is trying to overcomplicate things, they probably are, and it's probably to try to confuse you on purpose. Keep it simple. If you feel like you don't have to use a million different herbicides, you don't have to do this and this way, guys, it's a food plot. Always remember, when a bird eats a seed, it poops it out, that plant grows. We didn't do nothing with it. It just grew, right? That's how you have to think of food plots. Another thing real quick is keep it simple, is people think that a food plot has to look like a picture on a postcard. It does not have to look like a picture on a postcard. A deer does not care what a food plot looks like. It cares about how palatable that food plot is. Number 6, this is my favorite part, is have fun. Doing all this type of work, if it stresses you out, causes fights and anger on social media and these forums, and I see these Facebook forums, if you read the comments, everybody's arguing, well, this person said to do it this way, or this person said to do it this way. You're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing it wrong. You're doing it the way you want to do it, and that's the way I encourage you to do it. You learn from your mistakes. If you do it wrong, realize that, and just don't make that same mistake. Research it out. You guys can get some ideas, but the only way you're going to improve with anything is to do the work yourself, do something yourself, put a food plot in, and learn from your mistakes. Obviously, you don't want to destroy your property. That's why, again, I encourage you to get advice, but you have to still use your own mind and think for yourself and come up with what's best for you, you know. But have fun with it, friends, family, whoever you guys are doing it with, and you guys will have a lot of success with this stuff. And leading into 2022, I encourage you guys to get out there and be careful and do some work and do some soil tests coming up and some lime and fertilizer and plant some seed. And it's an amazing thing to watch something grow on your own property and to actually see wildlife benefit from it. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you want more information on food plots, soil samples, and habitat management, click this video right here on the screen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new.